Good morning. This is Bill Eschenbaugh of Eschenbaugh Land Company in Tampa, Florida, the Dirt Dog, as I'm sometimes called. And I was inspired by something I saw on a YouTube podcast over the weekend. This is particularly addressed to landowners who might be thinking about making a decision to sell their land. Why would you not sell it yourself, you might ask? Why would I want to pay a broker a commission? Now that, of course, raises some questions for you as a landowner if you decide to do it on your own. How do you find the market? How do you find the buyers? How do you have that reach that's out there across the nation, maybe even across the ponds, across the lakes, reaching somebody in Canada, reaching somebody in England that might be the buyer for your property? How do you find the right person in a national home builder or an apartment developer if that might be the target market? Where are they? What should you charge? What's the price? What's your property worth? Do you have an opinion of value? Do you have comparable sales nearby? Do you understand what other people might be discussing in the marketplace as to the value of their property? Your competitors, your fellow ranchers, your fellow landowners? Do you think they'll honestly give you accurate numbers about what their property is worth and what they're thinking? Those are just a lot of the questions that might pop up for you. And then once you're out there in the marketplace, how do you deal with the brokers who are going to show up and always tell you, I have a buyer, you just need to sign my fee agreement and I'll bring my buyer to the table? And how do you deal with those? And how do you know that more than one broker represents the same buyer, so that you avoid conflicts of interest if you're between brokers? If you're not careful, you find yourself embroiled in a commission dispute down the road, and that's about as nasty a thing as you want if you've sold your property and you're getting ready to close. The brokers have some lien rights to put liens on your properties, and it's just ugly. So we would suggest to you might want to think about hiring a broker. We would recommend you to do this. Take 3 proposals. We'd be glad to do one of them. And in fact, we will not take a listing simply because you call up and say, I'd like to list my property, and is it worth $5 million? And we say, yeah, let's try that, and we sign it. We won't do that. We want to work through a whole proposal for you from our perspective that tells you something about us, our history, about our education. We also will then prepare for you a plan that looks at your property, provides you a broker opinion of value based on what we see as comparable sales in the marketplace. We then make adjustments for that about, wow, maybe what should the price be today? A sale that closed yesterday is probably 2 years ago when it was actually negotiated. So what should we list for today? And where should we market it? Our firm, for example, has a marketing plan put together in our proposal. We take it to a lot of places out in the marketplace, including LoopNet and Crexy, which is another database. And both of those, by the way, we're premium members. We spend over 6-figure numbers a year to have your property placed in a premium position on those internet sites. We have thousands of people in our database that we go to. For example, just for market rate apartments, we have over 1,000 names that we reach out to, the people who are active in the business, people that we have done business with, people we want to do business with. So we have a pretty good reach in that regard. We just don't want to take a proposal until we've made that, or take a listing until we've made that proposal to you. You've accepted it, and we move forward from there. In that proposal, we'll tell you some of our experience. So we go along with the attitude that we need to have a roadmap to you to understand where you're going. We need to have discussions ahead of time about how we report to you. We do a detailed written report by the 15th of every month so that you know what's happening with your property, where it's been exposed, what kind of reaction we're getting from the marketplace, and those kinds of questions that might come back to you. And I guess the last thing you'd want to see in a proposal from us, we call it a success fee. That's, we think, is a nice way of describing how we're going to be compensated. That's the commission structure that we'll get paid, but only if we're successful in meeting your goals of selling your property and actually having a closing. And that's the only time we get paid on it. We don't have any upfront fees that go into the project. So we believe here in the 5 big E's, and so quickly for you, from your standpoint of a person who may want to consider us for a listing, is our experience. We'll show you examples of selling similar properties for similar prices in your market recently. We'll show you our education. We strive to have everyone here have an accredited land consultant or ALC designation, a CCIM certified commercial investment member designation, maybe a master's degree. So we're really big on the education part. We have an empathy E in our 5 E's, and one is put ourselves in your shoes. Try to understand your goals, your objectives, your tax consequences, your family discussions and so forth that need to be solved before we go into the adventure together to sell your property. Bring the enthusiasm to the table that is created by our monthly reporting process. We stay enthusiastic, not only in first month or second month, third month, and the fourth month, and the fifth month, and the sixth month. And some of these projects take a while, but we're going to stay enthusiastic because of the written reports we guarantee we're going to give you. And on top of all that, check out your prospective brokers on their ethics. Have they had any complaints filed against them at the Florida Real Estate Commission, at the local association of realtors? What do you find online? What do others say about them? Do they have letters of reference? If all those things add up, we hope that we're in the final three, or the three that you take a look at, and we just want to win most of the battles of being number one of the three that you look at. So from the Dirt Dog's perspective, I hope I've given you some things that might be helpful to you if you're thinking about selling your land, and at least give us a shot. I'm at 813-287-8787, extension 1. Thank you.